10 most haunted castles in Europe. Imagine wandering through a 1,000-year-old corridor lit only by flickering torchlight, hearing footsteps echo behind you, but no one's there. Across Europe, castles that once hosted kings, warriors, and traders now housed something far less regal: ghosts. These stone fortresses are beautiful by day, but as night falls, they come alive with stories of betrayal, bloodshed, and restless spirits. Haunted histories are etched into their walls, and some visitors claim those histories reach out even now. Whether it's a white lady in a tower, a phantom knight, or unexplained screams from the dungeons, these castles offer more than history, they offer encounters with the supernatural. So, light a candle and stay close. Here are the 10 most haunted castles in Europe. Leap Castle, Ireland. Often called the most haunted castle in the world, Leap Castle in Ireland is the stuff of pure nightmare fuel. Built in the 13th century, it has witnessed brutal murders, clan wars, and even occult rituals. The most terrifying legend involves the Elemental, a dark, decaying spirit said to emit a foul stench and appear before tragic events. The Bloody Chapel, once the scene of a fratricidal murder during Mass, is the epicenter of its ghostly activity. Visitors report sudden cold spots, being touched by unseen hands, and hearing groans echoing from deep within the walls. Paranormal investigators have recorded screams, disembodied voices, and shadows darting between rooms. This is not a place for skeptics. Leap has a reputation for converting them fast. Chateau de Brissac, France. Nicknamed the Giant of the Loire Valley, Chateau de Brissac is known for its luxury, grandeur, and one particularly gruesome ghost. The Green Lady, believed to be the spirit of Charlotte of France, was murdered by her husband after he caught her in an affair. Her body was hidden, but her soul never left. She's been spotted wandering the halls in a green dress, her face disfigured with gaping holes where her eyes and nose should be. Guests say they've heard her moaning in the early morning hours and felt sudden drops in temperature. Even staff members are reluctant to go into certain rooms alone. Despite its elegance, this castle's past oozes from the stone, and Charlotte's story is still being whispered through the halls. Huska Castle, Czech Republic. Built in the middle of nowhere with no water source, trade route, or defensive purpose, Huska Castle's origins are deeply suspicious. Local legend claims it was constructed to seal a gateway to hell itself, a dark pit where half-human creatures and winged beasts were said to crawl out at night. Its Gothic windows are fake, its layout bizarre, and many rooms seem designed to keep things in rather than out. People who visit report overwhelming dread, sudden nausea, and a sense of being watched from the shadows. Some have claimed to see dark figures crawling along the castle walls. Even before stepping inside, something about Huska feels wrong, as though you're not supposed to be there. And maybe, just maybe, you're not. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Standing tall over the city, Edinburgh Castle is one of the most iconic landmarks in Scotland, and also one of the most haunted. Beneath its grandeur lies a dark history filled with executions, sieges, and plague victims buried in mass graves. One of its most famous ghosts is a headless drummer boy who appears before disasters, beating a rhythm of doom. Visitors to the dungeons have reported sudden cold winds, ghostly whispers, and the feeling of invisible hands brushing against their skin. During a scientific experiment, volunteers placed in the vaults described identical eerie sensations, without knowing the stories beforehand. This isn't just folklore, it's documented creepiness. Even in daylight, the castle seems to carry a weight, as if history itself is watching. Dragsholm Castle, Denmark. Dragsholm Castle in Denmark boasts 3 resident ghosts, each with their own tragic tale, and guests swear they've met them. There's the Grey Lady, a former servant who died of illness and is said to still watch over the staff. Then there's the White Lady, whose body was discovered walled up in the castle centuries after her disappearance, likely imprisoned by her father for falling in love. The most infamous ghost is the Earl of Bothwell, husband to Mary, Queen of Scots, reportedly dragged by ghostly horses through the courtyard at night. Guests have described doors slamming on their own, sudden flashes of white in empty hallways, and the sound of chains rattling from unused dungeons. Staying overnight here, it's not for the faint of heart. Musham Castle, Austria. Nicknamed Witches' Castle, Musham in Austria was the site of horrific witch trials and executions during the 17th century. Hundreds of people, mostly women, were tortured and killed within its walls, and many believe their spirits remain. Visitors report hearing chains clanking, agonized screams, and cold winds in rooms that should be sealed tight. Some have claimed to see ghostly apparitions wandering the halls, including a headless woman and shadowy monks who vanish into walls. The atmosphere is so heavy that even seasoned ghost hunters describe it as oppressive. You can tour the castle today, but don't be surprised if your camera malfunctions or your flashlight flickers at the wrong moment. Musham isn't just haunted, it's angry. Poveglia Island Fortress Ruins, Italy. Though technically a fortress ruin and not a castle in the traditional sense, Poveglia Island off the coast of Venice might be one of Europe's darkest places. Used as a quarantine site during the bubonic plague, it became a dumping ground for the infected and later housed a mental asylum where cruel experiments were rumored. The decaying fortress on the island still stands, but the land beneath it is said to be made of more ash and bone than soil. Locals refuse to go near it, and it's illegal to visit without special permission. Those who have set foot on Poveglia speak of overwhelming despair, shadowy figures, and voices calling out from empty buildings. Even the bravest ghost hunters often cut their visits short. It's not just haunted, it's haunted on a cellular level. Predjama Castle, Slovenia. Built directly into the mouth of a cliffside cave, Predjama Castle is straight out of a gothic fantasy, and it's got the haunting legends to match. Once home to a rebellious knight named Erasm, the castle's most famous ghost is said to be his. He was killed by cannon fire while in his bathroom, a betrayal from within his own staff. Visitors claim to hear strange knocking sounds from the bathroom area, doors creaking open on their own, and phantom footsteps echoing through the stone halls. The castle's secret tunnels carved through the mountain only add to its eerie allure. Some say Erasm still uses them. Despite its beauty, Predjama has an energy that clings to you long after you leave, like something followed you home. Ballygally Castle, Northern Ireland. Now, a Hotel Ballygally Castle is a lovely seaside fortress with an extremely active spirit still lingering in Room 9. Lady Isabel Shaw, who was supposedly locked in a tower by her jealous husband and fell to her death trying to escape, is said to roam the halls, gently knocking on doors and sometimes appearing at the foot of guests' beds. Her ghost is considered friendly, but that doesn't mean she won't scare the daylights out of you. Staff report cold spots, flickering lights, and voices when no one else is around. Some guests have checked out early after experiencing a presence they couldn't explain. The hotel leans into the lore, but even believers leave wondering, how can such a beautiful place feel so unnerving at night? Bran Castle, Romania. Popularly known as Dracula's Castle, Bran Castle in Transylvania is a medieval masterpiece. And it has some very real hauntings to go with its fictional fame. Though Vlad the Impaler may never have lived here, the castle still has deep ties to stories of blood, betrayal, and imprisonment. Visitors report hearing whispers through the stone halls, unexplained cold drafts, and a woman sobbing in the Queen's chamber. Some have felt hands on their shoulders in empty rooms. Paranormal teams have captured eerie EVP recordings and temperature drops that defy logic. Whether it's psychological or truly paranormal, Bran Castle leaves visitors uneasy. When the fog rolls in and the shadows stretch long, you can't help but wonder, what's lurking just out of sight? Let us know in the comments which castle gave you the most chills, or if you've visited one of them and had an encounter of your own. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next journey into the strange, the haunted, and the unexplained.